Hello and welcome back to Under Review finally. When I said a hiatus, I thought it would just be for the holidays, but it was a full 21-day break for the Huskies. Having stuff like this happens just makes us so much more grateful for all the games that can be played and we get to analyze. And they went from 0 to 100, having 3 Big East games this week versus Creighton winning 63-55, then Butler 92-47, and then Xavier 78-41. With the exception of Creighton being semi-close, Xavier and Butler were blowouts. So this week, instead of breaking down game by game, let's break down these players and see what they have done in this past week after the 21 days off. I'm Brianna Mon.
And I'm Grant Mangle. Let's get into it.
The first player we are going to talk about is Nika Muhl, or as I like to call her, Nika Fuel, because she brings the energy. Nika can finally come off the bench. We had a lot of injured players, so it's good to have Nika back. And Nika, we see, have the start over Avina, the first time Avina's not starting in her college career. What do we think about this, and do we like it?
I'm a fan of this move by Coach Auriemma. I think that inserting Nika into the starting lineup helps kind of give us a new identity. It makes us tougher, better defensively, and lets us move the ball a bit better. We've got scorers out there like Kristen, who's lately been proving she's still got that game. Olivia's been scoring pretty well. Caroline's been picking up the slack a lot, especially while Paige is out. And so moving Avina to the bench provides us with more bench scoring, which we haven't really had a ton of this season, and it provides us with the toughness in the starting lineup. So I'm a big fan of this move.
I know a lot of people say that Nika may not score a lot, but Nika does bring a lot of aggressiveness to the game. She steals. She's just an energy starter for the team, and she's a great middleman with assisting. I know Avina in the past games has not been doing her best. She only had 2 points in that Creighton game. She hasn't scored a lot, and she used to be like one of the highest leading scorers on the team. So I think Coach Auriemma is really just trying to light a fire under her and try to bring more out of her. And I think this is a good way of doing it.
Yeah, there's no wake-up call like being sent to the bench. And as much as we can say, oh, this is just we don't have bench scoring, we want you to be the leader, she wants to be out there at the start of the game and the end of the game. So it's going to light a fire under her. You're right. She'll be back out there in no time. I'm not worried about her at all.
I know we would think that he would leave those seniors in, them being the people that know the most, but even Kristen Williams, he's questioned, Olivia Nelson-Dota, they've all went through their patches, and I feel like challenging them and bringing them out of their comfort zone is going to make them a better player when it comes around to March.
Absolutely. We've seen Kristen respond so well over the last week or two here. It's been great to see the seniors. We've seen it time and time again where they go through these ebbs and flows of being the best player on the court to non-factors. So it's really good to see them when they're peaking.
Next, we have Caroline Ducharme. Let's talk about the block party. 5 blocks this week. Caroline's just such a rare player, being a 6'2" guard, so she can really get aggressive down near the post, and she works hard when she's going through those drives. When she starts going to the basket, she usually does not stop. She finds a way to get that layup in. She's very gritty. She almost has Nika-like energy, which I like. She's super aggressive, and she just brings a lot to the team.
She's really crafty in the lane. A lot of really nice little Euro steps and step throughs, which make her really hard to block down low. And you're right, on defense, she's a nightmare where most times she's guarding someone shorter than her, who they think they're quicker, but Caroline's got the speed to stay with them and the length to be able to block them and alter their shot. So she's been a massive factor for this team.
She's been averaging 18.6 points per game. And we saw those first couple games, she was having a rough start, but now that she knows she's needed and she knows that she can't be taken out, she's kind of just comfortable. Usually as a freshman, you're afraid to make a mistake, so you're really hesitant, but she's gotten over that hump and she's become such a consistent, valuable player after that game.
Absolutely. I think she has a great chance of being Big East Freshman of the Year too. And coming into the season, Azzi Fudd was the name everyone was thinking about for that awards. And that's just crazy to show how good this recruiting class was at UConn, where our second recruit is putting up just unreal numbers. And we know Azzi's had the injuries, so she could have easily been in this conversation too, but it just shows the depth of this recruiting class.
Very true. Moving on, then we have Kristen Williams. I talked about before when Gino questioned what Kristen Williams was doing on the court. And we saw the senior struggle a lot in Louisville, but she had a record high of 7 steals against Butler, 13 points in Creighton, 19 points in Xavier, and 19 points in Butler. She's just really been improving her game.
Yeah, new hair, new Kristen. It's great to see her out there. She looks confident. She's shooting it well. She's engaged on the defensive end. She's just playing some of her best basketball that I've seen of her 4 years here in Stores.
Then we move on to the bigs. Aaliyah Edwards, she definitely went through a rough patch, but seems like she's back. She did pretty good in the Big East games this week. She was really driving for those layups. Just good to see her have confidence again. And then you got Ono, 8 blocks, 5 steals, 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists in one game. She's really becoming that all-around player that Gino was always trying to make her become. Although she is known just to be a forward, she really has expanded her depth. We see her even shooting a lot further out, closer to the 3-point line. So I feel like that's pretty good. And Dorka's been pretty consistent too.
Yeah, with these three, it's all just about the confidence. The talent is clearly there. Like you said with Olivia, we see the flashes of how she can literally do every single thing on the court. And same with Aaliyah. We know how aggressive and how good she can be when she gets going. Dorka, after going over 1,000 points, she had some huge games during that time period after we just had lost Paige. So we know the talent is there. It's all about the confidence, and it's just they know they can do it. They just got to put the ball in the basket now.
And then we even got Piath and Amari getting in, and they both scored, making every player available in the Xavier game having scored. Piath getting those 8 points in 5 minutes. Amari's still trying to find her footing, but I feel like it's pretty good to see them out there and know we have them, being that we have such a short bench right now.
Absolutely. It's always comforting to know that you have more depth. And it was great to see Piath get out there, one of the hardest workers on the team in practice. So it's just great to see them get their chances.
And we still have Azzi, Aubrey, and Paige on the bench. Sadly, Aubrey will be out for the rest of the season because she has to get back surgery, but hoping she gets a medical red shirt and assuming she would. It was reported Azzi ran on a treadmill. I don't know how close that means she is to coming back to the court. And then Paige, off of crutches, immediately starts shooting. Such a Paige thing to do. Coach Gino says that Paige seems like she went to Johns Hopkins instead of Hopkins High School because she thinks she knows more than any doctor. She definitely wants to get back in the game really quick, and we can see that from how she acts on the sidelines.
It's a tough loss to lose Aubrey, even though we never had her at all this year, really. I think she would have been a great piece on this team. Well, kind of like Nika and that defensive effort, rebounding, hustle. We need more of that right now. And then Azzi and Paige, I'm curious to see which one of them actually ends up getting back on the court first. Initially with Azzi, she was shut down for 2 or 3 weeks, and it's just continued to extend, and they don't want to push her back so that they can re-aggravate the injury. Then she's out all the way till next year. So I'm really curious to see who ends up getting back on the court first.
Both are very injury prone. We know Azzi had that large injury her senior year. So I think they're just trying not to push them, but they definitely want them back before March. Moving on, we have some topics related to basketball, definitely, and related to UConn women's basketball, but not exactly anything to do with the games. During that 21-day hiatus, Muffet McGraw did accuse ESPN of having a UConn women's basketball bias, and knowing Coach Auriemma, he did definitely reply. He quote unquote said, "I guess Muffet's bored. I guess she doesn't have a whole lot to talk about. Usually when she was coaching, no one listened to her anyways. I think the bias, if there is any, has to do with our 11 national championships, which is a lot more than 2. I do want to thank the people at ESPN for helping us win 111 in a row. I mean, if it wasn't for them, there's no way we could have done that. So hopefully there's some people over there that can take credit." And his last line was, "She didn't say we've won more than anybody except Tennessee," which again, I think she missed Sesame Street growing up. 11 is more than 8. So Definitely a lot to unpack, but do you have any initial thoughts on this, Grant?
He's got a point. Men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And 11 is greater than 2. 111 wins in a row. They're really, if there's any bias, it's just towards the fact that how storied this program is and how it's just expected that there to be this good every single year. I don't know if she's bored or not, if she truly feels this way, or she's just trying to stir the pot. But Coach Auriemma and their rivalry, they've always butt heads going back to the big rivalry that these two had. So it's not shocking at all to see this.
I never thought it would take place after Muffet was already out of the game, but the fact that she brought up Gino Auriemma again, he had to reply, and he definitely did not disappoint. A couple other things in news. The NIL, surprisingly, women's basketball, or not really surprisingly, being that we have the two biggest names in women's basketball at our school, is making more than men's basketball, 26.2% total compensation. Pretty good for the sport. The only sport above us currently is football. So it's kind of cool to see that people like Paige and Azzi are bringing so much to the game, as well as a lot of other people, but just that through NIL, they're really making a name for women's basketball.
Yeah, when you have stars that transcend the sport like this, it's easy to see why there's being so much brought in just from them.
And then last but not least, Sue Bird says she's coming back for another year. Thank God she did. I was hoping she wouldn't say she wasn't. I feel like it's going to be more than 1 year, but we are going to have to see. Sue is just very dedicated to the game. I can't even imagine her giving it up.
Looks like she's having like a documentary crew follow her around this year too. So that'll be exciting to see all that footage once it comes out. If it's the last dance, odds are she's going to go out on top. We'll look for them to win the championship this year.
Hopefully UConn can do the same. That's all for this week. Tonight, they will be playing Oregon in Oregon at 5 p.m. But that's all from us. I'm Breman.
And I'm Grant Mangle. Thanks for watching.